Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Take on Tottenham. My name is Ben, and this is my take on Tottenham. This is going to be an interesting video, isn't it? Don't know where to start really. Let's start with the scoreline. So, Tottenham 0, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. I feel like the scoreline really flatters Spurs. Wolves could have won by more. Wolves probably deserve to win by more. And for all the criticisms that will absolutely come in this video of Tottenham and individual players and things like this, as I said with Southampton game, and as I say with most games where, again, if you watch my channel, if you know me, if you know my videos, you'll know that I kind of reflect on it honestly. If Spurs ever put in 110% into games and they end up falling short, or they lose, or they draw, or there's frustrations, I'll say it that way. If Spurs have absolutely played abysmal and the other team deserve to win, I will also say that. I try to never do a disservice to the winning team or the one who deserved to win. And it follows that pattern again today. For everything that I will say about Spurs, Wolves were fantastic. I need to just get it out of the way because I've got so much to talk about. Wolves were fantastic. The really well organised, as Southampton were as well in the week. Well organised defensively. Again, if I had a criticism for Wolves, that they didn't score more. The chances were there. They were playing against an abysmal defence. What else to say, really? They're a team that has, the second best defensive record in the league, only second to Manchester City. I don't really know what else I can say about Wolves. They were brilliant and again deserved the win. Let's get into my team. Oh, this would be an interesting video. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to go straight through the list because you know how we work. I got the list of all the stuff that happened in the game, and then we'll start the rant and everything like that. So let's just get on with the starting lineup. Bentancur in the starting 11, Sessegnon as well ahead of Reguilon, who was on the bench and used sub. Really happy about that in my fantasy Premier League team. Matt Doherty as well in place of Emerson Royale. That made a lot of sense based on how bad Royale has played. In hindsight, we'll see. And it started off bad, really, didn't it? Spurs looked a bit shaky in the first 5 minutes anyway, and conceded, I think it was 6 minutes gone on the clock. It was so poor from Lloris. Oh my god, it was so bad. A keeper who was very, very reliable, has been excellent in the last couple of seasons, really has. Very out of character performance from Lloris on the whole today. And this goal that was conceded was pathetic. It was bizarre. It was a bit of everything, really. So Wolves were sort of lining up to take shots at goal, basically, like pre-match style, and I think it was Neves struck the post. Was it the post or Lloris tip it onto the post? Ball came back out to I can't remember the name of the guy who scored. Oh no, it was was it Jimenez? Yeah, Jimenez who got the first goal. And for some reason, on Lloris's second attempt at saving the ball, he went to punch it when it looked really easy to catch. I'm not saying I'm a Premier League goalkeeping expert at all, but that looked like an easy ball to catch. And for some reason, he went to punch it. Now, I've seen Lloris do this a couple of times this season and stuff, and it kind of works, obviously, if you do get a good punch on it. But the punch was terrible. It went straight out to Jimenez, who just rifled it in on the third attempt at goal. But you're looking at it, I really don't know why Lloris didn't catch it. It was abysmal. It was absolutely terrible. The pass, I wrote the passing was so poor for the first 15 minutes, but the passing was poor the whole game, but we'll get into that. Yeah, basically, I'm just trying to read through some of the rare positives that I wrote. I think Sonny had a chance. Oh yeah, that was it. Sonny had a chance. It was a beautiful ball through from Bentancur. Really, really great ball, and Sonny just dilly dallied with it a bit and just kind of rolled it to Sarr's hands. Really, it wasn't anything special. Then Wolves got their second goal. Oh god, it was just a comedy of errors. Really, it was so bad, and Lloris again culpable. And not just him, but it kind of started from Lloris. It was a poor pass. It basically was it Doherty passed it to Lloris, and I was already like, oh no, here we go, sort of thing. And then Lloris went to pass it to Davies, but absolutely overhit it, putting pressure on Davies then. Davies gets the ball, and then for some reason, just hits it straight up to a Wolves player. Instead of... Oh, God. It's giving me a migraine trying to think about it. Instead of just lumping up the field, getting out of danger, he tried playing a pass that would never have worked under any circumstances against any opposition. And he passed it straight to the Wolves player. I think it was Semedo. Wolves got it back straight away, and then, like I said, a comedy. It was like watching Morecambe and Wise or something. It was like Wolves got it into the box. I think they took a shot, and then it hit Bentancur, and it hit Sanchez, and it hit the post, and it came back to Podence, who just smashed it in. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. It is. I know it's a cliche to compare it, but it was like watching Sunday League defended. It really was. It had that era of comedy about it that sort of thing would only happen in Sunday League. Yeah, it was pretty bad. I thought Sanchez was getting done too easily as well. I think certain performances will get highlighted about how bad they were today, but I don't think Sanchez should get away with it either today. I thought he was equally as bad. Getting done just so easily. Every single time Wolves broke through. And they were on fire that first half. They really were. There was nearly a goal with Jimenez again. Oh my God. It's defending again. Comical defending. Doherty, completely... had all the time in the world. Completely not pressure. No pressure on him whatsoever. Gets the ball, and he's got the crowded box onto his left. He goes for a header, which I think is going to go straight on, and he headers it back into the box, and it comes straight to Jimenez, who has a volley, and it was well saved by Lloris, but it shouldn't have happened. It should not have happened. And then a brutal moment in the match. A brutal moment, of which I respect the brutality of it, the ruthlessness of it. Conte got past the point of no return and decided to make a sub about 25 minutes in. I've got my opinions on this. Like I said, I respect the brutality of it. I think that team needs that at times. But I felt really bad for Ryan Sessegnon, who got hauled off in place of Kulusevski. I understand the sub. I really do. I understand the change in formation. I understand something needed to change. My only critique is that my biggest issue with how we were playing, I didn't feel like Ryan Sessegnon was the worst bit. I didn't really think he was having that bad of a game. No one was having a great game. But there were players in that defence that were doing way worse than Ryan Sessegnon was. And I felt bad for him. I felt really bad. He had the long walk around the stadium. I just felt so bad because he's only a young kid. And that's not a nice feeling. It's really not. And I just felt awful for him. And like I said, I personally would have taken... I personally would have taken Davies off and kept Sessegnon at the back, but then I don't know how would that have worked. Oh no, to be honest, I would have kept Sessegnon on at left wing back where he was, and obviously played the back four of just having Romero and Sanchez in the middle. But that's just my 2 cents. I'm not a football manager. But yeah, I felt really bad for Sessegnon because he was by no means the worst player in that team today. There was players who put in way worse performances. Yeah, not nice. Not nice to see. But again, it was good to see a manager in Conte that is willing to see the game as it is and make those decisions. So you have to respect those decisions as well. Brutal but necessary, and if Spurs had come off winning that game, it would have looked like the best decision ever. So we have to respect that decision, as brutal as it was. Winks poor passing the whole game. Lost out to it went to pass the ball. It went to Podence, forced Lloris into making a really good save. The first half, let's list off who was terrible in the first half. Lloris, Davies, Doherty, Winks, Sonny. Sonny was so poor today on a whole, but oh my god, Sanchez as well, poor. I thought that we were struggling in midfield so much because Bentancur, who I thought had a good game in respect to how bad we played, was basically operating in midfield on his own because Winks was playing so bad. Bentancur was basically trying to do the job of almost trying to create that link all on his own, and he did at times really well, but he can only do so much on his own. Second half, obviously they would have absolutely been bollocks in that dressing room, and rightfully so. Second half was an improvement, but again, by no means was decent enough. Let's just go through it because we'll get into the rant and stuff. Kane had a chance. It was saved by Sarr. It was kind of a tame effort. Winks had a really good volley that was deflected onto the post. That was a bit unlucky. We had a free kick that was right on the edge of the box, and I said immediately as it happened that we would not get anything from it, and shockingly we didn't. Shockingly, Kane didn't take it. He usually takes them and hits them into the wall. Sonny took it, and it was just a poor free kick. It didn't really do anything. Yeah, we'll get into that as well. Kulusevski, he had a volley that went wide, really should have scored that. Romero, late on, had a header saved by Sarr. And that was kind of it, really. I wasn't really expecting Spurs to break through Wolves in the second half because, like I said, second best defence in the league. Sarr, who I think is a really great goalkeeper. I was just seeing nothing from Spurs. And as well, like with Tottenham today, it's not, let's be honest, they weren't peppering the goal. They really weren't. I'm going to get into it now. The notepad goes down. Spurs weren't peppering the goal. They weren't. It wasn't like we've seen it as Spurs fans. You know, we go to Man City and stuff. Loads of teams go to Man City and they're just shot, save, whatever. Spurs were nothing like that, and I know that might be laughable. I'm comparing them to Man City. That's quite funny, actually. I don't mean in that way, but I mean in the sense that Spurs were chasing the game. They had a better second half, but they weren't peppering the goal. Sarr didn't have that many saves to make. Wolves didn't really have to do their best defensive masterclass. They defended very well, of course they did, but they didn't have to defend for their lives because Spurs didn't really make them. And I think that is terrible to say from my perspective. Let's just get into individuals. Matt Doherty, I really praised him after the Leicester game. I thought it was the best Doherty that we'd seen in a Spurs shirt. I thought he'd had a really good game. He only played 45 minutes, but he was doing what I saw him do at Wolves, and that was really great. Today he went back to the anonymous player that we've known him in as a Spurs player. He was completely invisible most of the game. Defensively, very, very worrying at times. Headers going, and it wasn't just that one header that I mentioned earlier. It was the headers generally that he did were going to Wolves players. I know for a fact that the Agent Doherty memes are going to start coming up because it did look to me that he was more interested in playing for Wolves today than he was for Spurs. Yeah, not good from Doherty. Davinson Sanchez looked absolutely like he'd been out the night before. To be honest, and I was still feeling those effects. He was slow, he was sluggish, he looked on a completely different wavelength to Christian Romero. Really not good from Sanchez, really, really not good. Just just terrible, really. And it comes back to, we'll get into other players and stuff, but it comes back to not replacing players. I feel Davinson Sanchez was kind of brought in to be the long-term replacement for like your Vertongans and your Alderweirelds. He was Poch believed when we signed him that he could be one of the best defenders in the world, and how laughable that is to look back on that claim now. It was a club record fee at the time, but it's not worked out, and then these players kind of hang around too long and whatnot, and it's just not worked out for Sanchez. I think there's a good defender there somewhere. I just haven't seen it much, and he makes, annoyingly, I've seen him make amazing tackles, last man tackles at times, really good tackles, but most of the time it's inconsistent. It's looking not solid at the back. It's looking very shaky, very nervy, very worried almost. And that's not how you were supposed to be as a centre-back. You're supposed to be commanding. You're supposed to be... I'm not speaking from any experience. I never played as a centre-back when I was younger, but it's the characteristics of a centre-back. You're supposed to be strong. You're supposed to be commanding and really take a hold of that back four. And Sanchez really doesn't show that to me. Who else was it? Ben Davies, poor game today. I really thought he was having a bit of a resurgence under Conte, but the last few weeks he's been very, again, like Sanchez, shaky. Passing has been very poor, distribution poor, not looking very reassuring. Lloris, I've touched on his errors today, usually very good, very poor today. And obviously he's the captain, and if he's a bit shaky, then everyone else is going to be a bit on edge. Who else did we dig out? Winks was so bad, so bad from Harry Winks today. A guy whose passing usually is quite good. Was just every single pass I saw him make, it just ended up a Wolves player, and then wasn't really doing much defensively. I felt Spurs struggle without that whole defensive mid type player today. And like I said earlier, Bentancur was basically trying to do a job on his own in a midfield of two, and that kind of showed. Sonny, I thought, was probably potentially one of the worst performances I've seen him play for a while. He had chances. That's not saying, he has had games where he's just been anonymous, but he had chances, but every single time he got the ball, he just felt like he had no confidence. He had no, he didn't have any confidence in the shots that he was taking. He didn't look confident enough, like he was ever going to score. And every time he got into a position where you think prime Sonny would put that away, he'd pull it back, and it was very strange, a very, very strange performance from Son. And like I said, just didn't look like he was ever going to score today. Who else? To be honest, I think I've just rattled off most of them. Emerson Royale came on. I really didn't expect much from that. The players that did play well, and like I said, I have to say that with quotation marks. Harry Kane, I thought he did the best with what he could. I don't believe he falls under much criticism today because, there was not much service going in. I thought he was passing better than Winks was, and theoretically, Winks should be setting up. It should be the other way around. Winks should be setting up for Kane. I felt like Kane was actually trying to set up more for the team. So I thought Kane played okay. Again, no one played well today. But the better players, Kane, Bentancur, I thought was good in midfield. I thought, he showed promise. Had some frustrations. Gave the ball away at times as well. But he was creating chances, and that was good to see. I thought Kulusevski didn't blow anybody away when he came on, but he added something that was different when Conte changed the system. And really, is that it, really? 3 players? Sessegnon, I just felt bad for. I felt we probably could have done Reguilon today. I don't know why he was out of the team. Out of the first 11, he was on the bench. And that might be it. That was probably really bad to say. Um, what can I say? Spurs. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's really not. And there's no hiding behind the manager anymore. They can't hide behind the managers because they've got one of the best in the world. That the problems lie with the players, and it's been like that for so long. Spurs as a club have never replaced the players that were key to their success. And I know we all have varying degrees of what success is, but the best Spurs teams in the last couple of years, let's be honest, since Poch era, they have never replaced those players. They never have. Moussa Dembele never replaced. Christian Eriksen never replaced. Jan Vertonghen never replaced. Toby Alderweireld never replaced. You'd like to think with those last two that Cristiano Romero, who I forgot to mention, again, terrible performance everyone, but he showed something about him, and that was good to see. You'd like to think Cristiano Romero defensively would be a good long-term signing, who's looked very good in defence, and he really is. He was named Serie A best defender in the league last season. You'd like to think that hopefully he'll be a long-term one, but again, it's a wait-and-see sort of thing because he's only in his first season. But creativity-wise, they never have replaced it. They've never got anybody in, and Spurs, I feel, and I've said this for a long time this season, they are suffering so much on the fact that they don't have a set-piece taker. I would have taken Christian Eriksen in January for 6 months just because, and don't get me wrong, I very much remember what he was like in his last season at Spurs. It was so poor, corners not getting past the first man, but Spurs are still doing that even though he's gone. At least the free kicks and whatnot, they create something. Spurs are suffering so much without a set piece taker who's nailed down every week. Sonny takes corners, and 9 times out of 10 they get cleared or they hit the first man. And Kane takes free kicks, and 9 times out of 10 it hits the wall. They're not good enough. Spurs had chances today and free kicks, and they've had them for months in areas that should be dangerous. The team should go, oh, hold on, this is a bit dangerous here. Let's, they might score from here. It's a good set piece thing. And you just look at it and I never ever get excited whenever we get a free kick in a dangerous area anymore because they never do anything with it. And they're missing that set piece taker. And just that air of creativity in the midfield as well. Winks, yes, has good passing, but he doesn't have the creativity. When Moussa Dembele used to have it, he used to absolutely just ball would stick to his feet. He'd drill through the midfield and find the pass, and that's the class that he had. Eriksen, like I said, could pick a pass out from anywhere in his prime. I mean, obviously, and obviously set piece wise, he was great scoring free kicks in his corners and things and whatnot. Spurs never have replaced it, and it's showing now, and it's shown for the last few years. And the only set piece that I'm happy that we've got covered is penalties because Harry Kane scores most of them. That's it. I think that's such an underrated thing that nobody really ever talks about. I don't know about why, but no one ever mentions it. But yeah, what can I say? They're just so poor today. And like I said, my only criticism of Wolves is that they didn't score more. The opportunity is there. That defence is so fragile. And come the summer, it needs a massive restructure. It really does. I've been talking for 25 minutes nearly. Wow. It's the longest video yet on my channel, I think. The defence needs a massive restructure in the summer. It really, really does. It's not good enough. It hasn't been for a long time. And it's like tracing paper thin. As soon as anything goes near it, it will just, like a tissue paper, they crumble apart and they look so uncertain. And I tell you what, if I was any team coming to play Spurs at the minute, I'd be like, straight away, just put the pressure on that defence because they will fold, they will crumble. And it's really bad. The summer transfer window, I kind of can't wait for. But it's going to be one of the most important windows in the club's history with Conte as well. It's going to be make or break time, and they need to get it right. So rant over. I'm sorry it's such a long video. Life does get better. Next weekend we've got Man City, so life does improve. You know. Oh, you've just spoken about how fragile the defence is, and then you go into Man City. Oh god, that's going to be not good. We did beat them as well. That was weird. It was weird that we beat them first game of the season. But yeah, yeah, I'm kind of scared about next Saturday. It's not going to be nice. I might hide behind the sofa for that performance. So yeah, silver lining, and it is a thin line. Spurs are 4 points off fourth with 2 games in hand still, so there's a silver lining. But Wolves have leapfrogged them today, so Spurs line 8th, which is not good. But yeah, and like I said, it gets easier because Man City next week. So I'll see you guys for that video. As much as I already don't want to do it. If you have liked what you've seen, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, leave me a comment. What you thought about not only the game, because I'd need to hear about that. Tell me what you thought about the game, but tell me what you think about what I've said. Tell me what you think about my comments. Do you think I'm way off? Do you agree? Do you think that is, in my opinion, it's really underrated? Underrated. It's not said enough about how bad Spurs are with set pieces and how much they don't have a player that has that creativity. Let me know in the comment section down below. And I will see you guys in the next video. And as always, come on, you Spurs.